It all started with a knock on my ranch gate, the kind of knock you don't forget, mostly because it was followed by a clipboard slamming against my security camera. Karen. HOA Karen. Platinum bob, fire truck red lipstick, and a snarl that could sour milk. She squinted through the bars like she owned the place. This area is not up to HOA code, she barked, pointing at my 100-acre ranch like it was a suburban front yard. I politely told her the HOA didn't own dirt out here, let alone my land. She said, "We'll see about that." That's when I knew this wasn't over. Welcome to Prodigy Tales. Make sure you like and subscribe for your top-notch HOA drama. I brushed it off until 2 days later when I came back from a feed run and found my gate wide open. My horses were panicked, my chickens were squawking like the apocalypse had hit, and my front door cracked. I drew my phone out, checked my cameras, and there she was. Karen, snooping around my barn like she was on a National Geographic expedition. She had gloves on, a flashlight, and the dumbest sneaky walk I've ever seen. For a moment, I thought she was high. Nope, just HOA level entitled. But what Karen didn't know was that while she was galloping through my property like a knockoff Indiana Jones, someone else had caught her scent. Bear, my German Shepherd. Ex-police canine, retired but still had the soul of a predator. I'd rescued him 2 years ago after he took down a drug ring in Texas, and he treats trespassing like a sport. As Karen tiptoed through my kitchen, probably trying to find reasons to file citations, Bear came crawling in silent as a shadow. No bark, no growl, just pure instinct. She reached for my spice rack of all things when she heard the low rumble. She froze, slowly turned. There he stood, all 95 pounds of sleek fur and authority, teeth slightly bared, tail stiff. Karen screamed like a kettle, bolted toward the back door, slipped on a floor mat, and went straight into my pantry shelf. Cans rained down like hail. Bear stood over her, not biting, just barking loud enough to shake the window frames. That's when the camera in the corner blinked red, recording every second. Karen tried to army crawl out from the sea of canned tomatoes and beans, smeared like she just got baptized in chili. Bear stayed close, barking with precision, enough to make her flinch with every breath, but not enough to bite. That dog had restraint I could only dream of. I was parked just outside, watching it all unfold on my phone, and sipping a cold one like it was pay-per-view. Then casually I stepped through the back door, camera still rolling. Well, if it isn't the HOA's self-declared FBI, I said. Karen, gasping and disoriented, stammered, "I thought someone was in danger," while still face-deep in pinto beans. I chuckled. "Yeah, Bear thought you were the danger." She tried to stand, but Bear growled once, and she froze like a cartoon. I gave the command, "Bear, heel!" He backed off, tail wagging, proud as ever. Karen looked up at me like I owed her a lifeline. "You're going to be in serious trouble for this," she said, tomato pulp in her hair. I raised an eyebrow. "I'm going to be in trouble? For what, you trespassing? Breaking and entering, scaring livestock, and getting your HOA fingerprints all over my spice rack?" That's when her tone shifted from shocked to smug. "You're part of the HOA district whether you like it or not. You signed a clause. This land is technically under oversight." I blinked. Technically was doing some heavy lifting there. I walked over to my drawer and pulled out the deed, laminated, notarized, ironclad. I tossed it at her feet. "Read the small print at the bottom." She squinted, her face collapsing with every word. "This land is zoned agricultural and exempt from HOA control." She stopped reading. "Yup," I grinned. "I'm the loophole your HOA hates. I'm not just off the grid. I own the grid out here." She scrambled to her feet, yanked her phone out, and started dialing someone. Probably her attorney, her HOA lackeys, or the gossip chain. "You're done," she hissed. "This is harassment. Your dog is a menace. I'm going to sue." I leaned against the counter. "Good luck with that. You might want to get the canned beans out of your ears before you testify." Then came the cherry. Bear walked over and peed right on her designer handbag. Karen screamed. Karen stood frozen, watching her overpriced handbag soak up a fresh stream of guard dog justice. Bear wagged his tail like he'd just won a trophy. She gasped, scooped up the bag like it was a newborn, and shouted, "This is a Louis Vuitton, you savage." I tilted my head. "Did Louis design it to hold dog pee? Because that's a nice added feature." She shrieked again, storming out the door, but not before slipping on a trail of horse feed and falling directly into my flower bed. Roses. Thorns. You can guess the rest. I didn't bother helping her up. Instead, I turned to my camera setup and calmly downloaded the footage. Every second of her break-in was now backed up to a cloud server, 2 flash drives, and my private lawyer's email. Karen scrambled to her feet, covered in dirt and tomato paste, yelling legal threats like she was auditioning for a courtroom drama. "You'll hear from my attorney. I have power in this neighborhood." "This isn't a neighborhood," I said. "It's a ranch. There are more cows than humans out here. The only thing you have power over is your own delusion." She stomped off, yelling at her phone, demanding someone get out here now. 10 minutes later, a black SUV with a magnetic HOA security sticker pulled up, driven by a man who looked like he failed out of mall cop school. He stepped out, puffed his chest, and said, "We've had reports of aggressive animals and illegal property modifications." Karen pointed at me like she was sending in an airstrike. "Oh, you mean Bear?" I said. "He's registered, trained, and lives here. As for modifications, everything you see is legal. But your friend here broke into my home. That's a felony, by the way." The fake cop blinked. "She said you attacked her." I laughed so hard I nearly fell over. I wasn't even here, and my camera footage says otherwise. Want to see her roll in my pantry like a toddler in a bounce house? He hesitated. Karen hissed, "Don't listen to him. He's a manipulator." Bear growled once. The man immediately backed toward his SUV. "This is above my pay grade." Karen screamed, "You're not leaving me here with them." He drove off. Karen stood alone on my gravel driveway, mud on her knees, hair in full scarecrow mode, screaming into the wind like it owed her something. "You'll regret this. You think this is over?" I calmly opened a cooler, grabbed a soda, and leaned against the fence. "No, Karen. You're the one who should have thought this through. This ain't suburbia. This is my land." She stormed back toward my front porch like she had unfinished business. But this time Bear was already there, sitting like a furry bouncer. She froze, shaking, then turned to run, again, only to trip on the same damn mat from earlier. Boom. Face first. This time my sprinklers kicked on. Full pressure. Straight in the face. Automatic system. God bless technology. While she flailed in my front yard like a soaked cat, my phone buzzed. "Sheriff's Department. Got your email," the deputy said. "Footage is crystal clear. Want us to press trespassing and breaking and entering charges?" "Yes," I said, "and tell them to bring a towel." 15 minutes later, a squad car rolled up. Karen tried to play victim the moment they stepped out. "He locked me in. He set his dog on me. I was trying to protect the community." The deputy didn't even blink. "Ma'am, you entered a private residence without permission. You were recorded the entire time. And the dog never touched you. The only thing that attacked you was a can of baked beans." Karen's face dropped harder than her broken heels. She turned to me. "You're evil. You've manipulated everything." "No, Karen," I said, holding up the flash drive. "You did this to yourself. The HOA doesn't run this ranch. The only code out here is, don't cross me." As the officers cuffed her, she screamed, "This isn't over. I know people." One deputy chuckled. "You should have known better than to mess with a rancher and his dog." They stuffed her in the back seat while Bear gave her one last bark farewell. The door slammed. Peace returned. My land, my rules, and one less Karen sniffing around like a truffle pig on HOA steroids. The end. Please like and subscribe for more HOA showdowns like this. Do you think Karen got what she deserved? Comment below.